Hey everybody, welcome to our show. We have started a brand new show called ObviousCaptains, where we are going to get into all sorts of interesting topics that are, we could say, a combination of current events that are, conversations that people are having right now, where there's a lot of debate back and forth, a lot of these topics that you hear on the news, as well as, you know, other stuff that interests us. But the key component to this podcast is that both my co-host and I are Hispanic. We were born and raised in the United States. We are Americans, but we are Latin Americans, and we do have that culture that we kind of our culture that we love, and we want to kind of bring those topics to you guys from our perspective. That's what makes it different from all the other stuff you might see out there. You're actually going to hear from, I myself, I'm Croatian and Mexican, and my partner here.
Mexican and Puerto Rican.
Nice.
We both like beans, though. That's the thing. That's what ties it all together.
It's all the Latin American countries like beans, right?
And I can say that. You know why?
Because we can.
Because we're beaners.
Well, I don't know about that. YouTube's like canceled.
Oh no,
demonetized. Yeah. By the way, I do want to mention too to our viewers that we both are doing this out of what we consider. I don't want to speak for you, man, but I'm going to say for myself, I feel like it's my duty as an American to bring up these issues that are plaguing our country, that where I feel that there's just no, it's just things don't make sense anymore, right? And so, a lot of these issues are things that I want to discuss with people, and I kind of want to, see, try to make sense of it all, see if viewers can, kind of help me understand, what the heck's going on. And then, what is your motivator, would you say?
Yeah, and I think we're both on the same page when I say that it's very easy for people to feel like they can't have a certain opinion because of the color of their skin or their lineage. And for the longest time, I was always afraid to speak up and say how I felt about certain things just because of the industry that I was in. My friends, my family, it's just, for the longest time, I felt like I was in the closet with politics. And now is the time to speak up, because the older you get, I would hope most people would come to realize that you have a short time here, and you need to really say what is in your heart. And if you feel a certain way, then you should talk about those things. And I think that Red would agree that we want to give people that encouragement when they look at us to be able to speak up about certain political views, or just, how do you feel about what's going on in the world?
Right.
That's like the big thing.
Yeah. If you guys, whoever's watching out there, if you are Latino like us and you feel like you've been suppressing your truth, maybe because you've been called a breakfast taco here or there, or or what else do the Bidens like to refer to us as?
I don't know, coconuts,
strawberry picking, whatever acceptable slurs they've got on the left for us. Latinx,
Latinx. Can we have a whole episode on Latinx, please? Man.
I would love to.
I know some people that just loved it and embraced it, and then I think the vast majority of people that are Hispanic were like, it's just weird.
Right. It is very weird. It's like, who are you to tell me what my label is? Number one. Number two, I never complained. I never said, I don't want to be a Latino anymore. Listen, whether you like it or not, there's languages that attach gender to words. That doesn't mean that that's your gender, right? You could be a Latino gay man who identifies as a woman whatever, man. When we say Latinos in plural, we're referring to men and women. So let's just throw that gender nonsense right out the window. Stop right there. Boom. Okay. Those are our words, Latino, Latinas. That's the way we've been referred to for ages. And if there's newer Latinos that don't like that, by all means, go knock yourselves out, go call yourself whatever you want. But don't apply that term to all of us. Don't make me fill out census forms that say Latinx or, whatever, like, you're half white, half, like all this nonsense, man. There's another twist that we haven't mentioned to our viewers yet, though.
What's that?
I'm gonna push my desk down just a little bit here so I can do.
What's the twist?
The twist is that both you and I used to be leftists.
Oh my gosh!
We both
voted Obama for your mama.
We both voted Democrat. I think probably most of our adult lives.
Yep.
Bet you didn't expect that. Whoever was watching this thinking, "Oh, great, another conservative podcast."
Yep.
No, we were both very much, and like I've told people before, and I'm not proud of this, but I know you laughed about this when I told you this, but I still have those Obama knee pads in my closet somewhere. You know what I mean? So,
man, Obama is okay. Obama is the most charismatic president that we've ever had.
And I loved him. I really
I mean,
loved
even
him.
when he talks today, I'm like, dang.
Yes.
You're such a good speaker.
But I'm not going to lie, though. Bill Clinton was pretty badass as well, man. Bill Clinton
was a good liar, but then a lot of them are.
Yes, but he is very, very smooth with his words, man. He's so smooth.
Where is he from? Kentucky?
Arkansas.
Was he? Arkansas.
I think it's Arkansas
boy.
Yeah. Arkansas, he's just a Southern, like, quote unquote gentleman that I was like all too happy to vote for, There's another thing that people watching might sit there and go, huh? And there is a saying that, man, I'm gonna maybe I can look it up. It's something like, show me a young basically that when you're young, it makes sense for you to be on the left because you feel like you want to change the world. You want to make an impact. You want to, you're there. You're like, I've arrived, guys. I know the world exists in X fashion, but I want to turn it into Y, right? Once you do that, though, once you go through your 20s, your 30s, you're professionally growing, you're growing with your family, you're growing spiritually, you're growing in all aspects of life. You start to say, all right, I changed my world from this to this. Yay. And then you're happy with this. And you want to preserve that. You want to conserve that. And then there's new generations that show up and will try to insert their new ways of life. And then that's when you become a conservative. You start to kind of realize that you're like, I fought for these things, right? I earned these things. I have a right to not be harassed in my home. I have a right to not have people carjack me every other day in the big city. I have a right to, not have worry about my wife getting to work without getting sexually assaulted. Mm-hmm. I have a right to have my kids in school without some teacher saying, hey, we're secretly going to change your gender and we can't tell any parents about it. Like all of those things, maybe when I was in my 20s, who knows? I don't know that I would have ever agreed with them, but let's just assume for the sake of argument, for anybody that's in their 20s watching us thinking that they're right, you're not right. You're just desperate because you want to be different.
Oh my gosh.
Right? They want to be different.
No,
you know what I mean?
I think you're right. So my origin story is a lot deeper than this, but I think one of the things that I could point to that turned me was once you have a little when you have stake in the game, when you are trying to run your own business, when you're paying, like you see how much taxes, like where does my money go when it comes to taxes,
right?
When you feel like you have the right to defend yourself in the city of Chicago, where it has lots of crime, and you want to have a firearm, and then the government says, no, you can't, it makes you go, why? Some people just don't care. They just assume, oh, gun's bad. But yeah, I think being young and there's a purity for young people, and I think you see it in kids too. Like, they want the best for people. They don't want to see people hurt, and I love that. That purity is amazing.
Yes,
and
100%.
It's good. I wouldn't say you should not, or you shouldn't lose touch of that, but you should also realize that there's a balance there, and you could what's the saying where you give a man a fish, or you can teach him to fish for a lifetime. I don't know what the saying is. What is it?
Right. Give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach him to fish, feed him for life.
There it is. So
maybe
something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, you get the idea.
I mean, that's kind of socialism summed up. Am I wrong? If you think about it, like controlling
socialism is the first option, where they give you a fish for a day and you're like, yeah, I can eat.
Yeah.
And then the next day comes along and you go, hey, government, I'm kind of getting hungry, and they're like, well, we don't have any more fish.
It's like, well,
but why don't you just teach me? I'll go and get them myself. I'll go and cook myself.
Yeah.
I'll go and grow my own food, So yeah, you're right, man. These young kids, their heart is in the right place. What they're lacking is an understanding of the world. I'm going to use a different analogy here. Every time I started a new company, I start a new job, there's always somebody training you, right? You're sitting next to someone and they're like, hey, here's how we do this. And as they're teaching you things, you're already like, I could improve that process. Like, I could probably make that better, right? And so there's a lot of moments like that where I've had those moments where I'm like, wait, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you coming in here to this brand new organization? You just started, you don't really comprehend it, and you're already thinking of changing it. That's wrong. I should get to know it first. I should understand my new employer. I should understand the way things work, rather than immediately saying, I don't care what existed before me. I'm here to change the world. Right? So their heart's in the right place, their intelligence, logic, common sense, not so much. Right? There's many arguments, many of those leftist arguments where you could argue the common sense bit. And, I'll give you one, the trans thing. I don't have a problem with an 18-year-old saying, I'm 18 and I think I want this surgery and I want to change my gender. Hey, man, absolutely. Do what you got to do. You're an adult. You're legally an adult. You're allowed to do whatever you want, anything you want. And additionally, I think our society should have a way to help them along that path that is an educated, organized way. Like, hey, here's how it's going to go. At first, you're going to do this. You're going to start this therapy. I'm not saying as a conservative, a newly minted conservative, by the way, just barely a couple of years. But I'm not saying I'm against those things. I'm not saying I'm against any of the initiatives on the left, so long as they're done in a way that doesn't impact the people that don't agree with them, because they also pay taxes. And so that it does things in a way that allows people to realize, even if it's a small percentage. Like, if I told you, let's just pretend, I'm making numbers up. These are arbitrary numbers. They're not real. If I told you out of 1 million people that changed their gender, there was 30 of them that changed their mind after the fact, that were like really regretful. Their life fell apart. They wish they hadn't done it. Isn't it fair to say that we should implement things along the way to help those 30 people kind of weed them out before they get to that part? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, the young generation, their heart's in the right place, but they don't have a clue what the hell they're talking about.
We need cultural change, and that happens by the standards that we set in our laws. The only reason why we have made police unwelcome here is because their presence has been largely antagonistic. While they aren't here, there's nothing but peace and humanity over there.
That's the problem, you know. But I remember being that age, man. I remember being that age and thinking I was going to change the world, and now I'm on a conservative podcast. What the heck happened?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Because you and I go back a time in our 20s, and where we were living the life in the city and doing all the things that a young person tends to do. And I think that that free mindset of live and let live. I mean, it's very easy to, when you don't have any real responsibilities, I guess, is what it comes
you just hit the nail on the head. Live and let live. When you're a 20-something-year-old that just got out of college and you're just starting your first job, is very easy to do. Yeah. Live and let live when you're a grown person with a family, with a house, with responsibilities, where you depend on that ecosystem and all that infrastructure for your family to prosper. It's a very different thing, you know, very, very different thing.
Yeah. And I mean, and that to understand that there's real evil out there, and you could want people to live and prosper, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there is such thing as evil, and there are people with evil intentions, and they don't want to let you live. I think if people really take that in and understand that those things exist, it might start to, and be honest with you. I'm sure all of us at one time or another have dealt with someone, whether it's at work or not even at work, or at a party or some social event, and you get that sense like there's something off here. Like this person, I mean, you have those senses for a reason, and there is such thing as evil and people with bad intentions.
Right.
So it's not all rainbows and unicorns, unfortunately. It'd be great if that was the world we lived in, but that's just not reality. It's just not.
Right. That I never thought about that, but you're 100% right. I never realized that one of the other issues that's plaguing our society is that, like, for example, let's say we were both LGBTQ plus whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I don't even know. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. I really don't know the smorgasbord of labels and letters that they've attached to that anymore. So I'm just going to go with the original term. But if we were both like that and you met me and I was like, oh, hey, you're transitioning. I'm transitioning too. We would automatically feel this brotherhood or sisterhood or something.
You can, just go.
We would automatically feel connected to each other and trust each other.
Yeah.
And the missing component there is that, hey, you can still be like me. We're going through similar stuff, but it doesn't mean that you're a good human being or that I'm a good human being. I might still be looking to scam you out of something. I might still be looking to take advantage of your situation. You know, you just don't know. You know, you really just don't know. And that's a great point. That's a great point, man. I don't think about that often enough because we're not used to believing in evil anymore or good. We just assume it's just humans being humans. But there are people that do bad things without any real purpose.
Yeah.
So I think that's another missing component.
It's aside from what's going on in the Middle East with Hamas or Iran, or I mean, you name it. Whenever I see people that have a pride flag and are going out in the street protesting for rights for Hamas, and it's like, do you understand?
Yeah, they don't.
You are not supported by Hamas.
Those are the lowest common denominator. Listen to me. If you're out there, whoever you are, if you believe that there could be such a thing as queers for Palestine, you are the lowest common denominator of our society. You have no intellect whatsoever.
Or no denial. Intellect That's whatsoever. What it is. It's denial, man. Yeah,
I think it's lack of intelligence because you know the reality. That's like me starting a Catholics for Whores organization or
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, can we say that on our podcast?
I don't know. I'll bleep it out, don't worry.
Are we allowed to? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
you can't take two contradictory things and say, just because I believe in one, I can attach it to the other. And there's plenty of TikToks and Instagram reels out there that are saying that, where they are asking Muslims, like, hey, have you heard that there's this Queers for Palestine thing? And they're like, that's pretty dumb. Like, if they were in Gaza, we would kill them. If they were in Iran, listen, if a woman can't even show her hair in Iran, you know, in the big city where they're probably more liberal than the villages, I would assume, right? On some level, there's got to be a level of Islam that's more moderate than the villages or towns. But if they see a girl, and I actually just came across a reel where you see these like soldiers get out, or policemen or something, they get out of a van and they rush towards a lady that's walking in Tehran. She's just walking on the sidewalk, and they literally walk up to her, and the guy like does a Jean-Claude Van Damme kick into her shoulder and kicks her into the store that she's walking by. These are the morality police. So if you're sitting out there and you are a person that's transitioned or identifies as something other than just like a regular male, female, whatever, like, fine, I have no problem with that. But if you do that and then you think those people are your friends, I don't think that's denial, man. I think that's just literally the definition of dumb to me. That you're dumb. You're dumb. You know what I mean? You're dumb. You know, it's, I don't know, man.
I can just hear the subscribers we're gaining right now.
Oh, I hope they stay at 0 forever, man. Because I don't
check.
We're not here. We're not here to get monetized. We're not here to win a popularity contest, and we're not here to appease anybody. We're here to say, hey, we're two Latin American dudes born and raised in the U.S. who used to be liberals, who used to hang on Obama's every word. And now we're starting to like open up our eyes and understand that there's a lot more going on, you know? Let me ask you something, Andy. What was your moment? I don't know if we've talked about this before, but what was your moment where you're sitting there in the dark on your computer or whatever, you're doing something, you're out on the street, out and about, and you have this moment where you're like a hardcore liberal, man. You're just like, oh man, I'm so leftist. You know, it's amazing. And then
I don't know if I would say like, man, I'm so leftist.
You know, and then there was that moment where you were like, huh, this doesn't make sense. What was that for you?
It's funny because it was Sandy Hook. That's what did it for me.
Uh-oh. And we're definitely not getting subscribers now.
Well, I mean that's what it was. It was when that happened. I think we were all mortified on how some evil person can go and kill all those babies. I mean, those children.
Right.
I think we're talking 4 and 5 year olds.
It was a lot. It was a lot too. It was a big amount. Let me see, Sandy Hook.
And I have kids that age, so I couldn't even imagine. But I was currently looking to purchase a firearm for the first time.
Okay.
And was just, I live in Chicago.
Right. 28 deaths, by the way, and 2 injured. Yeah. So 30 kids were impacted. And God knows how many more traumatized for life. Yeah.
But that situation when the government really started coming after AR-15s, I mean, I wasn't looking to purchase an AR-15, but I was looking at a firearm, and then all of a sudden they were trying to ban, assault rifles. That's where the whole assault rifle thing really started to take wave.
This is an assault weapon. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, no, it's not. It's a spatula. But in 2010, a spatula and other kitchen utensils were used by a Utah mother to bludgeon her daughter to death. So this was a weapon. It was used to assault. So it's not inaccurate for me to call it an assault weapon.
It just made me wonder. I started going down the rabbit hole of why are they trying to do this if...
what did I have to do with it? I feel bad for
what
those
did I
kids.
have to do with it? And I mean, there are people that have used bombs. There are people that have used cars, even after the fact, that have mowed down people. It's
just
not
recently,
the gun, it's the person.
Right. Just recently, those Islamic extremists in different countries in Europe or Australia or wherever, one of them stabbed a 9-year-old baby just like 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh!
It's I don't know when people are watching this, but it's April 2024, and recently there was an event in Australia where some pro Hamas, pro Gaza.
Yeah, you're really getting your message across by doing that.
Stabbing a child, a 9-month-old.
Sorry, that's evil.
Yes,
that's evil.
There you go.
I don't care.
Not if you're left wing, though. No, if you're left wing, that guy's misunderstood, and the baby deserved it.
I guess so, right? I mean, unless it was a black trans baby, something ridiculous. Yeah. Like, no, maybe then it has rights. I don't know.
Right.
Point is, I don't care. I think there are good people and that have from all sorts of walks of life, but we need to blame people. So the Sandy Hook thing, coming back to what you're saying, that's what really started making me wonder, like, what else is the government trying to take from me that I don't know about? Because for all these years, I was 28, 29 at the time, and I started going down the rabbit hole.
I mean, I don't think YouTube was prominent back then, so I don't think we even had YouTube at the level that we do now.
It was pretty big.
Was it already?
Yeah, it was pretty big. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to remember when YouTube became my go-to, to like research.
Yeah, I mean, granted, that was the era of Pandora and what else? Napster was around that time too. So yeah, a different time. We're talking over 20 years ago at that point, right? No,
probably 15 years ago or so.
15 years ago? Yeah, about 15 years ago.
Sandy Hook happened.
But anyways, that's what it was.
2012. You're right. 12 years ago.
Yeah. So for me, that's what about for you, Red? What was it the turning point?
It was like silly stuff, man. Like I saw the one that stands out the most for me, as insignificant as it was, because I was a Bill Clinton fan. I was angry that they kept talking smack about Hillary's email server. There was a time, I don't know if you remember this. No, hold on. There was actually a time.
Nice.
Because people are thinking the whole Trump thing. Hold on. This is before Trump. This is pre-Trump. I remember Andrew Yang was still in the race. This was like before the RNC and Trump was even the main nominee or whatever. It was like Trump was like the joke. He was like when a porn star runs for office and you go, that's not going to work out.
Yeah.
You laugh about it,
Sure.
I think who was the top candidate on the Republican side at the time? I don't recall. But anyway, early on, Trump was not the main candidate.
Ted Cruz was up there.
Yeah. Ted, oh man, I feel bad because he had that, he had like something pop out of his mouth at one point and like hang on his face.
To cut $500 billion.
And I was like, definitely not voting for that guy.
I remember that debate too, because I wanted Ted Cruz, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so there was this event, and people may not, again, anybody that's watching and then they're on the left, they probably don't even know about this because that's how insulated they are from reality. But I came across some YouTube video that someone sent me or somebody put it on their Facebook or something, and it was a guy that recorded himself going on different search engines, and he was like, I don't get this. He's like, has anyone else noticed this? When you go to Google and you would start typing Hillary Clinton CRI, like there was no results for criminal investigation.
Oh yes,
none. Right. There was like Google didn't have it, right? And I was like the biggest Google fan, man. Like I was like pro Google, I was like a regular, And on top of it, because I loved Android, I loved open source. I was anti-iPhone. iPhone was like Apple had teamed up with AT&T, and they were ripping people off. I don't know if you remember.
What kind of phone do you have now?
I have a Samsung. I still to this day have never owned an iPhone. And Google used to have one of their like company mantras or whatever was do no harm. I don't know if you remember that. They've probably eliminated that from their mission statement by now, but early on in the early days, Google's thing was like never do any harm to society. Like whatever we do, it cannot be for greed. It has to be for the greater good, right? Okay, back to Hillary. The guy's like Hillary Clinton, CR, and he stops, and the search results are like, you know, crashing a frat party, like, you know, climbing Mount Everest, whatever, man. It was like anything else that was not criminal, the word, right? Mm-hmm. And then the guy goes over and he goes, check this out. And he goes to Yahoo, starts typing Hillary, and boom, right away, first search result, because that's what everyone was searching at the time, man. Like, people were like, what's going on with this email server stuff?
Yeah.
Yahoo was like Hillary Clinton criminal investigation, and it would, like, you know, and then the guy went to Bing, same thing. And in that moment, man, and I was also a big House of Cards fan, which was a Netflix show with Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright? I don't remember her name now. She was married to Sean Penn, but I think she changed her name. So anyway, so House of Cards had a season in which it's a fictional show about the president in the White House. And they had an episode, or they had a season where, in order to win the campaign, they bring in these social media people to like scrub the internet of stuff and kind of manipulate search results, right? And it was like fiction. Like it's like watching The Matrix and then finding somebody that actually just woke up and got unplugged, and you go, whoa, is this real? You know, so I was like, wait, is that House of Cards thing really happening? Like, is Hillary's team manipulating, or are they coordinating with Google so that when the majority of users using Google search for that, don't find anything on Hillary? That's the moment it started for me. I was like, it doesn't make sense. Am I a bad guy? Am I secretly part of like the dark side, the evil empire in Star Wars? And that's what happened, man. After that, you know, I'm a critical thinker. I don't like people to spoon feed me my knowledge. I like to research it myself. Not that I don't trust you guys out there in the media. I don't. But I did at the time. Yeah, at the time I was totally like, it didn't make sense to me that this was being hidden from us. I was why? I have a right to know. Hey, you know what? If she had just come out and said, hey guys, I screwed up. I sent emails from the wrong servers. I used Gmail, Yahoo, whatever. It was like classified documents that I stored on the wrong thing. I screwed up. And I've handed over all my details. And, you know, if no servers had gotten deleted, I probably would have voted for her, man. As crazy as that sounds. It's like the Democrat Party lost me in an attempt to hide things from me. If you had just been honest, I'd still be a left-wing voter.
I think you would have not voted for her still if they had released all those documents.
I wonder. That's a good question. I definitely, let's just say Trump wasn't even in my, like, Trump wasn't even a possibility. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with what's on, I mean, because there's a lot of speculation on, I say speculation because it's, what's the word? When you can't say it is.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Lawyers speak. Allegedly. I'm trying to hide the brand
here. There is a lot of...
I know we can't do brands on YouTube, so maybe you'll just edit this out later.
Oh, I just drank some water. But allegedly, there is a lot of money that there are emails that showed she was taking a lot of money to go fly around the world to shake hands with people, and in the midst of that was neglecting her responsibilities here at the States, working with our military, and then Benghazi happened, I believe.
Yeah, so I forgot about that. The 13.
You would have seen a person that was in it for the money, and the Clinton Foundation, and it would have really, because if there was nothing on there, and it would have benefited her campaign, they would have let people see it. There was something more. That's absolutely true. There was more to it.
Right.
People.
Are you sorry? Do you want to apologize to the American people for the choice you made? Well, it wasn't the best choice. The people in the government knew that I was using a personal account, but it would have been better if I'd had 2 separate accounts to begin with. And certainly, I'm doing all I can now to try to be as transparent about what I did have on my work-related email.
I mean, let's forget about Hillary for a second. If you come home at 2 a.m. and your wife's like, "Where you been?" and you're like, "Oh, nowhere," and she's like, "Let me check your GPS or let me check your text messages," and you're like, it's so weird. My phone got deleted on the way home.
It caught on fire in my pants.
Shucks. Oh, shucks. Right? You're telling me, whoever you are, viewers, you're telling me that his wife wouldn't have a right to go, that doesn't make sense to me. Something's off. Something's off here. Right?
Yeah.
That's all it is. And so we're just sitting there here going, just tell us the truth, man. Like, we will vote for you. We're loyal. We will vote for you. And I'll say the same thing to the conservative side, man. Same thing. If not that I'm, God, it's such a messy conversation, because now we have like 2 forks, or we have a fork in the conservative party, which is you have the very, very far right-wing people that are really weird, wacky conspiracy theorists that believe in really just insane crap. And then you have the critical thinking people, probably like you and me, who are like, well, wait a minute, I just want to ask the question. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not poking your chest saying you did that. I just want to ask the question. Am I allowed to do that? That's it. And that's the problem with the right now is, but don't worry, guys. The left is eating itself right now, and so they're having the same issue, right? I'm actually, as crazy as it sounds, I'm actually, in a weird kind of way, happy that the events of Israel versus Hamas have shown the true colors of the Democrat Party, have shown the true colors on the left. You have a lot of leftist, Jews who are sitting there going, I can't believe my own party is turning its back on me now. And it's funny because on one end, you have like Biden's administration saying, yeah, we're going to stand with Israel no matter what. We're going to send money. But then on the other hand, you have all these other left-wing people at universities, tenured professors, like people that you would have, if you ran into them on the street, you would have genuinely assumed they were intelligent. And that's the other thing that this Israel-Hamas thing and all of these events of the last couple of years have highlighted is that you have people that are book smart. They could be a professor at NYU or somebody at Harvard or MIT. You could have like a Bill Gates type of person that is incredibly book smart, but that same person does not have the capacity to simply ask questions, like an Elon Musk does, right? And that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me that you have people running corporations, running universities, running all these major institutions that are prestigious institutions, and they are like actually really, really dumb. And then they're in positions of power. Like I don't, or some of them are evil and are okay with knowing the truth and still destroying society, right? So anyway, that was my eye-opening moment. That was the moment where I was like, I can't believe that my own political party is like lying to me. I'm already going to vote for this chick. Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like,
you just did it right there. You called her a chick. So
she's a chick. Wasn't she a chick at the time? She was young, right? She was younger. Yeah. I don't know.
Who are you talking about? Hillary?
Yeah, aren't we allowed to say chick anymore? Is that also another word that's been
I don't think you can
canceled?
say that anymore.
Lady?
Yeah.
Can I say lady?
Madam President?
Madam
Maybe.
Secretary of State. She
Madam
never got to... Hillary, you never got to be president, and you never
That's
will.
Right. Yeah, I don't think... She's just trying to... Yeah.
But yeah, it's been an interesting journey. It's been an interesting journey. And I think you and I have both experienced reverse racism from our own kind within politics.
Bizarre, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Being brought up in a Mexican family and then marrying a white woman and having half Hispanic, half white kids, and then living in a culture where they say, "Oh, your kids need to check their privilege because they're white."
Oh,
How do you
God.
think that's gonna make? How do you think I'm gonna react to a person like that? I think our society is screwed up if that's the way they're thinking. It's going backwards. If you think that is the answer, you're badly mistaken.
There are a lot of people that firmly believe in white privilege, and I think that that is definitely a conversation for another day. But
that's the left. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that they just keep coming up with excuses rather than saying.
We have a mutual friend. I'll say that.
Oh, we do.
That was very.
Wait, we have friends.
That was very upset about a specific movie stealing her culture. Do you remember that? She called you up.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk smack about any like the last 3 friends I have left, probably.
Okay,
but
yes.
But cultural appropriation is also a myth. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's not real because we've evolved. It's a multi-layered society, man. We've all learned things from each other. We've stolen things from each other.
Yes.
Right?
And
to be honest with you,
yeah.
No, to be honest with you, let's be honest, man. Like the West has taken concepts from other cultures and made them into really beautiful things. Like the movie Coco.
Yeah.
I loved it. I'm Mexican.
It was amazing.
I'm Mexican. And I'm not a fan of the Disney woke nonsense that's going on. But man, Coco.
Yep.
I loved it, dude. I was like so happy that there was a movie out there for my culture, for my kids, for my it touched me. I loved it. Coco was beautiful. Yeah. There's another one called like Rosalia or something, or there's a new one that came out. God, I don't remember the name. I'm terrible with kids.
Isn't that Dominican?
Colombian, I think.
Colombian, that's what it was.
Right.
Yes.
And it's also like a Pixar or Disney movie. Yeah. Same thing, man. Moana. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry.
That's not Hawaiian. What is it?
A Pacific Islander. That's
Pacific Island. Yep.
Yeah, like that region, right? Like Fiji, like New Guinea and all that. Again, they took cultural things that maybe you and I are not familiar with, and they polished them for us and presented it in this beautiful little package.
Then they changed Little Mermaid and do some. I mean, does anybody else realize that makes you're making the Black community feel like they can't have their own characters,
right? That
are just as special. That you have to go and stick a Black person in a white, what was a written white role, right? It's just. I mean, don't people see that?
Yeah, that's not diversity. To me, that's not diversity. Diversity.
What was the other one? Another one came out that was like that.
Oh God, Sleeping Beauty. All of them. All of the new ones. All of the new ones are like that.
Snow White.
Oh, you can't say dwarves anymore, by the way.
Oh, you can't say dwarves.
I think it's like Snow White and the 7 Republicans or something like that. I forget what
Seven little people.
7 little. I don't know. Can we say that?
I mean, nowadays people's okay.
Nowadays, they just want us to like keep your mouth shut because any random word could be like, and you're not saying it maliciously.
Yeah.
Nobody says it maliciously, but no, but here's what I would propose, or here's the way I see it. If tomorrow you took Spider-Man and made him into some Alberto Rodriguez
They already did, bro.
Well, he's kind of not really.
He's Puerto Rican.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was Black.
No, he's Puerto Rican, man.
Oh, is he? Miles Morales, right? Is he Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
How do you feel? How do you feel that
I feel like only 1% of Puerto Ricans have afros, even though my dad had an afro. I don't think that's necessarily completely accurate. Like, okay, we got to make this kid.
Yeah, make him look as Puerto Rican as possible. How stereotypical, right? Without being racist.
I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I like the Into the Spider-Verse. I think those are great movies, man. Even my son liked it. But go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say is here's what I would have liked. I grew up with Spider-Man. I grew up with Superman, Batman. I'm okay with those guys being white. Can you just
Yeah, I
create a
don't
new
care. Yeah.
just create a new hero for me, man?
Mhm.
Like if you're gonna go and create diverse characters, that's okay. I applaud that. I think that's a great idea. Represent minorities in the Avengers, where you have, you genuinely have a character that happens to be Latino, and you have a character that happens to be Black, and you have a character that happens to be Asian. Great. You have a character that's gay. You have a character that's, I don't care, man, in a wheelchair. Chip, Transformers. Remember that kid was in a wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
He was like the nerd, and I loved him, but a great character. But I guess what I'm saying is, don't rip me off by copy pasting a brown face over the Batman costume or over the Spider-Man costume. Create a new character for me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not fair that I don't get my own real thing that I can pass down to my kids and say, hey, have you read the latest Captain Mexico episode? Or issue. Or
I mean, think about Aladdin, man. Like,
right.
Aladdin is amazing.
Right. Imagine how would people feel if Aladdin got turned into like a white girl tomorrow?
Oh my gosh.
No, there would be an uproar. A Jewish.
There would be
a Jewish white girl.
If there was a Jew, no.
Aladdin. Yeah, Aladdin. I can't think of a good last name.
Oh gosh.
But you guys get where we're going with this. I hope the viewers get our point, which is,
or at least enjoy it. I mean, this is kind of funny too. I know you're laughing.
We know we're not against diversity as conservatives. Yeah. We're not. We trust us. We want diversity. We do. Yeah. We do.
Just not AOC diversity.
Not the AOC. Oh, she's evil. That's another evil human being.
We can. Yeah.
I don't really want to talk about her. She's like just pure evil, man.
Oh gosh.
That human being does not represent my people. Does not represent any of our people. She can claim all she wants, but she doesn't represent Latinos. She represents herself and her white husband and their Tesla.
And that's another thing.
And their city of New York.
I love my white wife.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with marrying white people, but the same people on the left that are, Kamala Harris, they have a lot of white spouses. Which is okay. I don't care. Right. But if you're going to kind of like throw it in our face,
talk
diversity
smack.
This and diversity that, and you're just over there eating your caviar with your white spouse.
And then getting into Congress as AOC and going, our people, and she's like, she was eating expensive caviar like 20 minutes before, or going to the Met Gala or whatever it is. Yeah. So that's the other myth about us, is that we're anti-DEI. We just want it done right. Right.
We're the best people for the job. God forbid we have the best people for. I'm sorry. If I'm having heart surgery, I don't care if Joe Schmo is a white dude that did better on his exams. I want him to give me the heart surgery, not the other person that we're like, oh, we got to give him a shot,
Right. You don't want the
good.
You don't want the Kamala Harris equivalent of a heart surgeon.
No, man.
Right? Like, hey, we were gonna give you the best, but instead we're gonna give you,
super cringe.
To summarize what we're talking about with regards to,
we threw a lot at you.
Through a lot of the diversity stuff. Don't change the dish. Don't give me like an arrachera pizza, which, by the way, that actually sounds good.
You could work with that.
Yeah. But how would you feel if I whitewashed Mexican food and gave you a freaking Vienna beef hot dog in a taco shell and said, here's your
Taco Bell, bro.
Here's your taco. Here's your Americanized taco. It's just a sausage in a tortilla. You don't want that, and I don't want that.
No, yeah.
Let's create new stuff. Let's create fusion stuff. Let's create diverse stuff. Let's get together as a multicultural, whatever society and create new wonderful things for each other, rather than saying, let me replace what existed, like Google did. Was it Google? I'm getting in trouble here probably. Who did that thing with the AI where the AI didn't even know white people existed?
That's a good one. I have no idea.
Let me see.
It was
people were Googling like George Washington, and it was like a black dude all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
Yes.
What's going on here? Like, that's
some,
the hot dog and the tortilla, man.
We'll show some of those images on this part right here.
Yeah, there you go.
You can see
what
we're talking about. You're right. There are some iconic historical figures that did pop up that were black. It was really interesting. They stopped that right away, didn't they?
I think after the backlash, yes.
Yeah.
I think they probably went and fixed it. But the bigger question there, or the bigger concern is, that just shows you, my concern with that would be that we are in the process of potentially discovering this, one of the, probably, let's just call it the single greatest discovery of humanity at this point. And by infecting it with these weird political ideologies, that thing could spin out of control 20 years from now, 10 years from now, man. That's like, I don't know, man. That's like saying, like, let's just, when we colonize Mars, let's just do specific things so that only certain people can do certain things. And when they're, you know what I mean? Like, no, man, we're still all humans at the end of the day. All of us. You know, the pigment, this is only pigment. Mm-hmm. This doesn't change me or you. Our culture does. The way I was raised, the way you were raised. The color of your skin, like, I can't see a white George Washington that actually existed in the form that he existed. Like, what? That's silly. That's silly to me. You know, how is that fixing racism? Anyway, man, I don't know. It's insane. It's insane the degree to which the left has gone, and they just don't have the capacity to comprehend. You know, like Jesus said, forgive them, for they know not what they do, right? Yeah. Except I'm not asking them to be forgiven, dude. They're just dismantling our society, and they don't seem to understand that's what they're doing. So one of the things that you and I wanted to really talk about, and I know maybe, I don't know what's your time looking like, but I'm good. I'm good
for right now. I do want to see, we did talk about a lot right there, and I think it was just to give you guys a taste of how we're gonna flow and how we're gonna drive here. Right. But do you want to touch a little bit on what our episodes might look like and wrap it up? Or did you have? No, we're an hour in, so I think that this.
Are we already? God, that was a good conversation. Okay.
Yes, we're an hour in.
All right, guys. If you've made it this far, if you're still here with us, first of all, we appreciate it. What we really want to use this platform for is to give you a different opinion on the same issues that you see, like, rehashed on YouTube and Rumble and Twitter, and I don't even know what other platforms exist anymore. There's so many of them, but Twitch and whatever, right? We want you to understand that we are two Latinos raised in a blue state, raised as liberals that have liberal ideas. So a lot of you that are watching might sit there and go, I kind of connect with them. I kind of see their angle. And that's the audience we're really looking for, is the people that can think outside the box, that can research things for themselves, and that they're not afraid to, like, speak up for themselves. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You know what I mean? It's a free country. Come here and stand up for yourself. I don't care if you're a migrant. I don't care if you're, if you've been here all your life. I don't care if you're American, if you're a dreamer. I don't care if, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're a Muslim watching this and you didn't like our bit about Israel, Gaza, but maybe there's other things that you're not happy about as a Muslim American, right? Because you guys are conservatives too. Like it or not, you guys are conservatives too. We may not agree on I don't want to speak for my partner here, but I may not agree with you guys on the whole conflict, right? There's a lot to unpack there, but that doesn't mean that we can't find common ground on other issues. So really what we're trying to say here is, this is not a get rich quick scenario for us. We are here because we're concerned, because we love our country, we love our families, we love our neighbors, we love our way of life. And we want you, if you're new here, to also love our way of life and to integrate into our society happily and in a prosperous way. We want you to make money. We want you to, build things. This country became the greatest country on earth because of its diversity. because of its diversity. Okay? So, you know, if anybody is trying to say, oh, these guys are so anti, no, we're not. We just want things done properly. That's all it is. So hopefully you guys liked what we discussed. It's just friendly banter between my buddy and I here. We're going to joke around. We might have some live events here and there where people can interact with us. We're not looking to hurt anybody. I think our group of friends is, I mean, we probably have every shade and color and shape and size. We have
and
fat
sexual
friends.
preference.
Yeah, we have gay friends. We have black friends. We have old, like I have friends that are old ladies, and I have friends that are, you know, like my friends' kids who I now try to mentor. You know, I try to guide them along. They're teenagers, and I'll be, you know, like, so the point is that we are two very diverse people, and we believe in diversity, but there's a lot of issues in our country that we need to talk about, and we need to talk about them from our standpoint, not from like a white person standpoint or any other culture for that matter. We want to talk about it from our standpoint. So if you like what you see, we hope you'll join us in the future. We definitely hope you'll join us, and we're going to do our best to not incite any kind of issues or anything with anybody. We're not looking for that.
Yeah. There is a lot of doom and gloom out there, and if you want that, you can find that somewhere. I don't think you're going to always find that here. That we want to be honest with people about what's going on, current events, and so on. But we also want to have fun. We want to laugh. We want to show that amidst all this craziness in the world, there is still some wholesome content out there. We're going to try to keep it friendly for kids to a certain extent.
Oh man, I might have to quit right now.
I will. Red's gonna have to get a swear jar, and then
Lord, yeah.
Or we'll make a bet. We'll do something where he has to wear a funny T-shirt, like maybe, I don't know.
I'll send each of our
out.
subscribers like $25, a $25 gift card.
Wow.
Every time
you heard that here.
Every time I swear or something like that.
So,
we'll figure it out. We'll figure something out that makes you guys money when I misbehave. How about that?
Yeah. So yeah, we want to have fun, low stress, and we're going to be talking about everything from, you know, politics. You'll see it in our intro, like family values, Second Amendment, the supernatural. We really want to go all over the place and just talk about things that interest us. I mean, we'll probably talk about AI. And you know, all sorts of things. So
aliens, Bigfoot.
I'm sure aliens.
And all the other myths, cultural appropriation.
And Red is a flat earther, so we're gonna have to convince
God,
him.
no, I'm absolutely not.
I'm gonna have to put on my flat Earth hats and be. Is it the protagonist, the person that is going to be your counter on the the
man,
and
I will actually. There is that caveat, man. Flat earthers, please just ignore our podcast. Move on.
Why do you want them
people here? Those people are nuts.
I do.
Those people are nuts. They think the earth is flat. We've seen.
I know.
Those people
if you're gonna be inclusive without being destructive, flat earthers, you are welcome. See, it's a 50-50 here. You are more than welcome to.
You got me.
to interject. And so yeah, I think there's like so many interesting things out there to talk about, and
those are the original conspiracy theorists, man.
I guess so. I remember having a book as a kid, and I forget what the book was. I was trying to find it, but there was a drawing of this caveman looking over the edge. Or was it Columbus? It was like a cartoon. He was looking over the edge of a flat Earth, and just being a kid in the 70s, looking at that and thinking like. And nowadays, people are like, "Oh yeah, the Earth is flat. Look, you can see the Earth's reflection in the moon." And
by the way, I am a very science-driven person, and so you guys might catch my partner and I here arguing about things at times, or debating things because and that's okay. And that's okay. It'll be a friendly little debate. But guys, thanks for joining us. Again, the name of our show is Obvious Captains. And I think it kind of explains itself. Yeah, we hope you'll join us again. We will definitely be letting you guys know what our schedule is going to be in terms of like how often we're going to put out episodes. Again, we are going to try to have live events because we are a community at the end of the day of Americans, and it would be interesting to have different people interact and talk to each other, and we do want different viewpoints. And yeah, hopefully we can interview some people that don't agree with us in a very civilized, like adult professional way, right? Thank you for joining us, guys.
Thanks.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Good talking to you, my friend.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers.